I'm preparing to live stream the meeting from Zoom to YouTube. We have both recordings. We'll see if it works. Perfect. And it's working well. And now I get to say, welcome everyone. Okay, everyone have their, coming in late, have their cameras. Welcome. I'm looking forward to today to talk about our cloud computing today, to talk about our exams, how were they graded, what we have done. And Dimitri, if I can be so kind and congratulate you, you got the highest grade in the class. So you did a lot of work, so maybe people can learn from you of what to do. Okay, so Dimitri, I'm proud that you did well. Okay, so we'll talk about other things. I'll talk about what we have in store, talk about the test. Let me start with the test. The test was two parts. It was multiple choice and was the open-ended. What I've done is the open-ended will count 40% of your grade. Rather than that 20 points, I'm giving 40% of the grade will be the open-ended. Most people did very well on the open-ended. It was a little bit clearer for people. And so I will end class early today. I will answer any questions people have about the exams or the homeworks, anything generic that I need to think about. We're okay? Yes. Hi. So stay with me. Go ahead.
To calculate your final grade, do you accumulate your multiple choice for 60%, take that score? So like, let's say you get like a 90 on the multiple choice. Do you do like 0.9 times 0.6 and then the other thing for the open-ended?
Right. Mm-hmm. For 40%. Yes.
Okay. So that's your final.
Add it together and that'll be okay.
And what was the average?
I'd have to check. I'm not sure. You know, there was a range. I think most people got in the 80s and 70s. Most people got, and I think basically I think from the 60s they would, with their open-ended, they probably would have gotten, you know, a B, and then there were a couple of people I may need to talk to. But most people got, I think if you were like in the 80s, you got a, that's an A.
For the multiple choice or on the whole exam?
No, the whole exam, you know, but I would say even on the multiple choice, if there was 80s and above, that was probably A's. But, you know, you go ahead and calculate, but, you know, it hasn't been curved yet.
But, so it's going to be curved?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
But it won't go down.
Okay, that's great.
You know, so it won't be curved down. That, you know, if you got you probably got in, you know, if you had a average of 90, you won't be given a B, you know.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Probably be going upwards. But we can talk. Anyone that wants to talk about specifically offline, hi, about your grade or other people, feel free. I'll end class a few minutes early to, if somebody has other things to do. So let me talk about what's next. This was our first exam in person. Our second exam is also going to be in person, the same lab. So everybody knows everybody knows where to go. What I want to do is I want it to be our second exam. It's going to be in the, I think I have it listed. It's going to be in late November. I want to concentrate from, after you come back from fall break, I want to concentrate on our projects. So the second exam will be a second exam. It will not be a final exam. So the second exam will cover mostly the new material. Okay, so you won't have to go through everything. So the second exam will be the new material, mostly. It'll have the same format, 2 open-ended questions. I'll do the same thing as I did before. And how was Abby, how was the open-ended questions?
I thought they were good.
Okay, so we'll do something similar in the other ones, and we'll list them. I think that's only fair, and then we'll give usually, a way to do it. Some people have a better idea of expressing already and knowing exactly. So we'll do that. That's number 1. So pay attention to when it is that you're not going to prepare for going to trips and so forth like that. We'll do it in class. We're going to do a project, and the project, all the final workings of the project will be due the day of the final exams. So instead of having a written final exams, we'll have all the materials done. We'll also, in the group projects, we will be presenting via what? The idea is nicely, we're presenting via Zoom. And after I give you feedback, you'll then record your sessions as a group based on the feedback I give you, and you'll submit it to the cloud with the link like you did before. So that will be part of your final project. What we will be doing for the final project is we will be looking at each group being like a consulting company. But each group in a consulting company can consult on certain subjects. So it may be on finance, it may be marketing, it may be education, it may be analytics, accounting, but we'll have the niche of looking at AI and the applications for AI. So it may even be, we may be consultants, or maybe we're going to even be our way is maybe we'll even have a company that's looking for internship possibilities for AI, let's say in finance, and we can even invite the group and say even they can make Zoom webinars where they can invite experts, real experts around the world to meet with students to give what types of skills do people need in AI? What are they looking at? So we'll be looking at different aspects of AI, but if you're in marketing, we can look at the aspects of marketing. We'll be looking at, there's a number of different AI tools that we'll be looking at for Google Bard, ChatGPT, and there's another company called Personal AI, and another called Annie. A number of them will be investigating, and you'll be investigating what's new. This is such a new area, and there's going to be such demand for it. What I want you to do is to get skills in it. I also have a special academic partnership with Wix. Wix is a website company, and they're going to be coming in, and I'm really thrilled. They'll provide us with free domain names. Usually costs in there, and they're going to upgrade us not into their standard version, but into a premium version. So we'll be upgraded so we can also show our work on a website. Plus we'll work with a mobile app, which is no coding, where you'll have a mobile app. So you'll have at the end of the semester, you'll have a website describing your consulting practice. You'll have, in this case, you'll have a description of yourself in it. You'll have your mobile app, and then you'll have maybe some videos along with it. You'll have social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you'd like, describing what your company is, educating about the possibilities of AI. We'll be doing that every week. We'll be doing that. Sometimes we'll be breaking down. I'm going to be in everybody's group. Sometimes we'll be breaking down to breakout rooms. I'll work with each group. In terms of groups, you can also think about it is in the groups, we'll leave it to 3 to 4 people in a group. You can decide for the for this part of the project, if you want to switch groups. I leave that up to you. I'm not going to be the matchmaker. The first time I was the matchmaker. Now you can decide on your own. If you want to stay with your group, you're happy with your group, you want to switch groups, and it may be the interest. So maybe some people want to do finance, some people even may want to consult in trading, looking at different trading systems using AI, look at different marketing systems using AI, and we'll do that. After the fall break, we'll go into detail on the specifics, but already now you can start thinking about it. And one of the things that you can even think about, is there something in the chat that I need to know about? Is there going to be a curve for, yes. Okay. So we can do that. Okay, great. Anything else that I need to do? All right. So, Mackenzie, I don't see your face there. I see a little forehead. I see if you can lower that down so I see everybody. And Jace too. Everybody's chin, everybody looks like they're in the witness protection program or something, where we're showing it. Okay. Anything else? And Megan and Brandon and George, Alexa, Dylan, if we can see your lovely faces. Okay. Okay, Brandon, you're looking great. Like the new haircut. Okay. So Jessica and Kevin. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? If you have other questions about personal questions and so forth, at the end, I'll stop recording and we'll talk about personal issues. We don't need to. Remember our need to know. No one else needs to know some of the personal issues everybody's having. Okay, so let's start sharing. Sharing is caring, right? So I'm going to share my screen. And this is good. I'm going to go to Chrome. We see that this is working, which is good. Let's see here. Let's do. So if I think about what's due, we have right next Monday, we're going to enjoy ourselves on fall break. And then Wednesday, we're coming back and we have what's available for what's due is quiz tech 3 and for TG3 cloud computing found in Wiley Plus. So let's make sure that that's available. I want to always make sure. So I'm going to go to assignments and quizzes. And I should see then, let's do that. Test options, tech cloud, open the test, make the test available. Yes. I think we'll do multiple attempts. What do you think, Abby? Again, to do twice, even though everybody's used to it, it's open-ended. And it's due October 18th. And I'll submit. So Abby, can you be so kind and tell me if you see it? Availability, it says it's hidden. So let me make it available. Make unavailable.
Yeah, I'll check.
Item is hidden. What does it say? Edit test options. Why does it say that? What am I doing wrong? Make the test available. Yes. Add a new announcement. Submit. So does it, do you see it?
Is it the test quiz?
Yeah, it's under, see, it says for me, item is hidden. Well, oh man, I know what I did wrong. Because let's make edit test option, maybe because of the, let's see, maybe it's because of the timing. Yeah. That's why. I corrected myself. Isn't it great when you correct yourself? Okay, now do you see it? Yeah.
Yeah, is it Tech 3 Cloud?
Cloud. Tech 3. Ellie, you see it? Tech 3 Cloud? Yeah. Perfect. So that's Tech 3 Cloud for next Wednesday. And also, it's always good to check yourself. And the other part I want to do is Wiley Plus, make sure that that's available. And in Wiley Plus, Tech Cloud, and I'm going to go down to Cloud Adaptive Assignments. And let me check the due date. Open assignment. Right? No one's taken it because it hasn't existed. One due date. Let's make sure the due date is right. Wednesday, October 18th, 5 o'clock. Okay, that's perfect. So that part is done, right? So Abby, I'll have you help me a little bit here. Okay, you're on a roll. So that's done. So I know that that has been done. And I go back to what's due. I see that what's due is cloud computing, these exercises, this cloud computing assignment, and an article by Microsoft on cloud computing. So if I click on this, right, if I click on this, I have experience on Azure. This is wrong. It's good to correct myself. Let's go back to web links. Let me go to web links. Okay. Let's see if this is it. This is. This turns out to be web links. The wrong link. So let me just get it and redo it. This one right here. So instead, I need to change that to what's due. Edit. And let's do what's due here. Should be this. So it should be Microsoft overview of what is cloud computing. Okay, so let's submit. And now we want to make sure we want to open it in a new window. And that is, what is cloud computing? So read this article of what is cloud computing, a beginner's guide of what is cloud computing. And you'll see in this is what it is simply put, is cloud computing is the delivery of computing services. And then you have the top benefits. You have the types of, you have the top benefits, you have types of cloud computing, public, private, hybrid. You have something of types of cloud services, IaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, serverless computing, the uses. So this looks like, Abby, a good article for what? Like an open-ended question, right? What is cloud computing, or what are all those topics? So that is a possibility for one of the questions. So we have that. The other part, while you are having your great time on your fall break, you may want to start thinking about and researching about AI. And one of the things about AI is people are saying AI is using like OpenAI and ChatGPT and Bard. Google are all using the internet and getting information and data from the internet. And then when you train it, your training goes out back to the models to learn. Well, there's something called personal AI that I'd like you to look at. And if you watch this YouTube, this is just some ads there, but when you'll watch this, this is about personal AI. And what's interesting on how they're using personal AI is they say you can create AI based on your data. You give it your data, you save your data, and you then and others can communicate with the AI based on what you've put in. And one of the examples of what they put in, let me skip the ads, is personal AI to ace your final exams. So it's interesting. Go through this and see if this is interest, that maybe that this could be your project too, of how you can use AI, personal AI in education. And maybe even you can use this for the second exam. That could be a possibility as a project. But this company is called Personal AI. And those of you who are interested in it, go to it, and you can even create for free. You can create your own personal AI, and you'll see how the language models work. So this is kind of an introduction that I'd like you to go through and get inspired by. Because what I want is, I want this project to be something that you're excited about and something that you can use beyond this class. So that's why in the second part of the semester, I'm going to emphasize our group project and shorten the number of chapters we're going to cover. Do you understand that, Abby? So I think it's going to be more useful for us to start. We'll start also next week. I'll be describing AI and what it is and what are the technicalities of it. But actually, the best thing is to actually use it and see where it can be used best, and see, we know in 6 months, in a year, 2 years, it's only going to get more sophisticated. So we're kind of like on the very beginnings of it for businesses. Everybody, you almost can even think about it as, once we learn it, we can even be consultants for other businesses of how they can incorporate AI with them. Okay, any questions? Dimitri, any questions? So just go through this and think, Dimitri, on your own of how you could create then a service, and basically if students, and we're not going to pretend, we're going to say we are students, that are trying to learn about AI, or these are the types of things, and we can even invite professionals to be of service to you. And why would professionals want to talk to you is the idea they'd love it for job possibilities. For you guys are a great focus group, and they say who are going to be the leaders in AI are going to be young people are going to be the leaders in AI. A lot of people that are retiring, all they say is, I hope AI doesn't take my job before I retire. And young people are saying, guess what? I better use AI or as a co-pilot, because it's going to make my life so much easier. I won't have to do the drudgery work. Plus, I'll have a co-pilot. Plus, when I get a job, they'll say, we want somebody, for instance, in wealth management that knows how to use personal AIs, okay, and can describe it as well. Okay, that's number one. Okay, next, what we have, we know what's due with the Wileys. Now, if we go to the PowerPoints, we can see in the PowerPoints, if I go to the 9th edition, I can think about it as a 9th edition here is that cloud computing. So when you think about the cloud computing here, when I think about cloud computing, in many ways, you really know about it, but you don't know the terminology of it. And we'll discuss why enterprises are using it and what are those key benefits, what are the risks, what areas is it getting into more, how is it expanding? And basically, when we think about, you can think about these are like open-ended questions, right? What is cloud computing? What are the different types? What are the benefits? What are the concerns, right? Is the same thing. The first thing that we need to think about is infrastructure. So the first thing, Ella, is what does IT stand for?
Information technology.
Information technology, right? And infrastructure is what we've talked about before. So if we talk about IT infrastructure of this university, right, Ella? What is it composed of? Hardware? Where was hardware? You remember when we went to the lab, Ella? Was there hardware? Yes. Software. What software does the IT infrastructure of the university have? Give me an example, Ella.
Microsoft.
Microsoft, right? All of Microsoft's, starting from Excel, Word, PowerPoint. What other software did it have on the lab there? It had NinjaTrader, right? It had maybe MATLAB, a number of software. And what are networks? If I think, Dimitri, what are networks at the university? Do we have any?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I guess we're all connected to the same network right now
Right.
while we're on campus.
Right. If you're on campus, as soon as you log into the Wi-Fi, right, and go on, it basically, sometimes for some people, does it ever say, that login? It basically says you are getting onto the university's network. Now, do you think, Dimitri, they monitor you?
Yes.
Do they have permission to do that?
Yeah, I assume so, since you sign into their network.
Yes. When you sign into the university's network, they can monitor you, and they do monitor you. So if anyone is doing any suspicious activity, like phishing, or basically, remember we talked about botnets? What are botnets? Botnets, basically, why do hackers love our university or any university campus is because we all have laptops. We're all hooked into the network. And what can they do? Those software, which is called like botnets, they can grab onto each of our laptops and they can spread malicious software using our computers, and we're not even aware of it. We're kind of like their injection sites. And then they can do what? They can spread it for what they many times, for instance, a denial of service, right? A distributed denial of service, taking all of our laptops and distributing them all around the world using our hardware. Plus, they could possibly go into the university and do what? Take credit card information, take healthcare information. So those are the networks. And when we even thought about the lab where we were, Dimitri, if they had a printer there, right? The network could be just to the printer, all those devices. And then databases, if I think about a database, Kitty, what kind of databases would the IT infrastructure of the university have? They're probably student databases, right, Kitty? There's faculty databases. There's courses databases. What else? All of that Cane Link is databases, right? There's financial aid that has databases. So those databases make the infrastructure. And then what IT services do, you remember, Kitty, they came to the class and helped me with the lockdown. That was IT services. They came to help me. So they're basically part IT services are developing these systems, part are managing security and risk. Remember, you had to log in, you have to give your user ID, you have to remember what they were so much into security. Remember, you had to take your phone out twice. One time to do part one, part time two. They're managing security and risk, making sure that, everybody there was supposed to be managing data. That is called, when I ask you then, Nicholas, when I ask what is IT infrastructure, it is all those components combined. Not difficult to understand, is it, Nicholas? I got hardware, software. I'm going to do networks for the infrastructure. I'm going to have database and IT service. This is usually called for the enterprise. So put in your notes there, usually this is called the enterprise. And the enterprise is like an organization. They just like to call it the enterprise. Usually you could have an infrastructure at your house too, right? I got hardware, software, I have my network, I'm connected, I'm hardwired, I'm also Wi-Fi, I have a number of computers, right? But in this case, maybe some of my providers, my Xfinity, my AT&T, or whoever I have it, are managing some kind of risk. So you can think about it as well. So what you have here is basically, in the olden days, they just had a large computer, and then they have personal computers that just stand alone. And then they have a local area network, which you put in the local area network is like the lab, like the business school lab. Enterprise computing is wide campus or campus wide, let me put. And then there's cloud computing and also mobile for my mobile devices. So basically, when I think about cloud computing, you know cloud computing already. Cloud computing, the whole advantage is it provides on-demand services. So if I go back to something, let me see, which one do I want? Even if I go back to what's due, and look at the cloud, the Azure cloud computing, Azure cloud computing in the beginner's guide, this is what we're talking about. We're simply put, cloud computing is the delivery of computing services, including servers. What are those? Hardware, storage. What is that? Like hard drives, databases, networking, software. So this is like the IT infrastructure, plus analytics, meaning like what? Like statistics, and intelligence, meaning AI over the internet. And what is the internet? Another word, Kitty, is the cloud. Anytime you think I'm going on a browser, Kitty, I'm really going on the cloud. Interchangeable. What is it supposed to do? To give me quicker innovation, to be more flexible and economies of scale. So you typically pay only for cloud services you use. And it helps lowering costs. So if I go back to that, it provides what they call on-demand self-service. Luca. On-demand self-service, first of all, for instance, have you ever used OneDrive or Google Drive? Luca.
Yes.
Yes. Why is that on demand? You can basically do what? You can store your files whenever you want. Do you have to go to somebody? You have to ask Dr. Rush, can you please put this file on my service? No, that's what they call on demand. Whenever you want, you can do it yourself. That's a characteristic of cloud computing, and enables then organizations, let's say like a university, to utilize its resources more efficiently. So instead, look, they can give you, in this case, more, they can give you, did they give you a cloud service, the university?
Yes. It's the OneDrive.
The OneDrive. So they can, it's more efficient there than saying, you know what, Luca, I'll give you, the university will give you an extra hard drive to carry around. One, it's more expensive. Two, it's not very efficient. And then when you run out of that, you say, you know, that's not enough. 1 terabyte is not enough for me because I'm doing a personal AI project and I'm going to need more resources. It provides what we call fault tolerance and redundancy. Redundancy means that it is going to be backed up. So you can think about redundancy is I'm going to have another backup. So if I think about it, Nicholas, my audit area, can somebody in the audit area delete any of your homework besides yourself? Nicholas. Michaela, did you hear my question? Michaela, can someone in the audit area delete your work, delete your homework that you uploaded?
Yes.
Yes. So what do you want to have? You want to have, for cloud computing, you want to have what? Redundancy. So you want to make sure that you back it up, your homework, in another, let's say in OneDrive. You remember when you even were doing the Ninja Trader, right? It was on one place. You want to do the redundancy. And you have something called fault tolerance. Tolerance may basically, fault means what? Error. Fault tolerance means if a computer crashes, there will be another place that will back up my work. So for instance, if we were using Amazon, Michaela, do you think Amazon has more than one server? Do you think they have backup in another place that when one computer goes down or they have earthquake in San Francisco, do you think they have another place where they'll be up and running?
Yes.
For sure, that's fault tolerance, that they're setting it up so they can tolerate a fault. I can tolerate having a fault because I have a backup. It's like a set of keys, Michaela, that if you lost your keys, you would hope that you make a copy of it, give it to someone else that you could rely on fault tolerance. And it makes it easy in this case to scale up. So if I think, Mackenzie, what does scale up mean? Do you have a clue? Kitty, you have a clue? What scale up means? Makes it easy to scale up and makes it easy to scale down.
Like make bigger, make smaller.
Or let's say, Kitty, we were going to do a startup together. We would start what? We would start off with me and you, and we had no customers. And then once we started getting more and more customers, do I want to get more and more computing power? Yes. And it may be really heavy during Christmas because what we're selling is in demand in Christmas, and come January, it's not there. Or maybe we're selling swimwear, right? Really popular. It's not popular all over the world in the winter. So we scale down. That's what it means by scaling down. And those characteristics then will be then many times getting that access, having those virtualized servers. We talked about VDI before, right? And those server farms, it's not where they're growing wheat, but these are server farms. And basically what they have, these server farms, now that they're doing it, is a number of computers together where they're into racks and they basically have the proper visualization. So what you're going to have here in the organizational server farms is basically anytime you see a cloud, that's the internet. So that's going to be the internet. And what you have is you have different types of clouds that you can choose from. Basically, who uses these clouds? We always use these clouds. We don't even think about it. When we have Gmail, right? And if I think about it, Jared, my Gmail is what? Public, private, hybrid, multiple, or vertical. What do you think? If that were a question, we don't even think about it. They give it to us. How much do we pay for Gmail, Jared?
No idea.
How much do you pay for Gmail? Do you have Gmail?
Oh no, it's free. It's free.
Free. You know very well, right? You're
Yeah.
used to when I corner you, you used to say I have no idea, but you know very well it's free. It's
Yeah.
public. Now, of course, it's public, your Gmail, but do you have a password? Yes, you have a username and a password to get in, but that's a public cloud. But some organizations have such private, let's say we're a government, we're the Department of Defense. We don't even want to share our data where in another computer where someone else is, even though we all have passwords. So put in your notes here, even a public cloud has passwords, but it's shared on a computer or a server. Let me put on a server. You don't even know where it's shared. I don't know where my Gmail account is, and I really don't care. But it's free, that it is public. So you'll see here that those public clouds and those private clouds and those hybrid clouds, a lot of times by default, we go to public. When I have the Instagram, when I'm going to get into my Gmail account, that's always going to be public. My Outlook is public. And then what I have is I have computing services. And what they say in computing services, they say as a service. So what they're basically going to do, Jared, is they're going to give you a service to like rent. So Kent, where are you living now?
On campus.
On campus. Okay, great. And on campus, when you're on campus, then electricity is, do you have to pay for electricity when you're living on campus, Kent?
Technically, no.
No, you don't. But at home, when you're at home with your family, does your family have to pay electricity?
Yes.
Yes. And when they basically, where'd your family live?
DC.
DC. Okay, I'm from the DC area too, originally. And so in DC, in the summers, I remember it gets real humid, doesn't it? It almost feels like Miami sometimes, right? In August, when you're sweating, right? And everybody turns on the air. And do you have to pay more or less?
More.
More. So it's as a service. Basically, your electricity is as a service and you pay for it as you go along. If basically it's August, you say to your folks, let's go to Colorado. Basically, we don't even have to turn on the air at home, so we're going to pay less. It's on demand. So basically, you think about this infrastructure as a service. Ken, if me and you decide to do a startup and we're going to get hardware, I don't want to buy the hardware now because I don't know what, I know in 6 months it's going to be obsolete. And I don't even know if this business is going to last long, and maybe will be a big booming success. And then we're going to keep on having to buy hardware over and over again. Maybe what we'll say is, you know what? We'll get infrastructure as a service and we'll pay as we go along, and we'll tell them how much we need in the beginning. We don't need a lot of memory, and we don't need a lot of hard drive space, but later on, that's infrastructure as a service. And platform as a service is basically, we have developers and we say, you know what, instead of we buying you all this different operating systems, and what we'll do is do platform as a service. We'll rent it out. And how will we get there, Ken? Via the browser, via the internet. And software as a service, we use that all the time, right? We don't basically store it. We just basically use it. And how do we get to it? Over the internet. Like storage, right? OneDrive, right? That's software there, software as a service. Or Gmail. So this is what we'll be able to do. And the difference, Ken, is we have something called on-premise. This is what you guys need to know. On-premise, when you remember, Kent, when I could record to the cloud, or I could record to the computer, my computer. When I say record to my computer, that is like on-premise. On-premise means in your building, or you own the hardware. You own it. That's on premise. And a lot of times what the university did is on premise software, right? In the lab, they took NinjaTrader and they put it on all their machines. And that was software on premise. Or it was, in this case, operating system. It was Windows, or it was those hardware, right? Or they have hard drive. All of this they stored in the lab. You got it? Does that cost money? Yes. Does it get outdated? Of course it did. Did you see those computers? They don't look like the newest ones that came out, right? That we used in the lab. So you can have a lot of companies previously and still today have what they call on-premise. But what's changing is, like what we did is we said, hey, that VDI, that NinjaTrader, you don't have, if you have a Mac, You don't want to buy, the university doesn't want to buy for you a new computer. What they'll do is infrastructure as a computer, like the hardware will be there, the platform operating system and the software. So that's it. So there's platform as a service for applications, developers. A lot of times I don't have to upgrade if there's a new operating system, if it's Windows 10 and a Windows 11, I don't have to, the university doesn't have to buy Windows 11 for you. What it is the basically Azure will do it. Microsoft will update. So that's platform as a service. Platform, then you can have your folks work anywhere in the world and just use the services you have, and you don't have to go and update the software, update the operating system. Let the vendor do that. The benefits of cloud computing. Dylan, this sounds like a test question, doesn't it? What are the benefits? It's going to have a higher positive impact on employees. Why? Because you're not going to have to update all the time. You can just have the vendor do it. It can save money because we don't have to pay for all the updates, the enterprise, and we can be more flexible, more competitive. What are the concerns? Sometimes reliability, sometimes privacy. This is getting less so because people like Amazon can do a better job of security than I imagine like a university could. Because that's their business. And these are the three major cloud vendors. Amazon Web Services. We think about Amazon when we buy things, right? This Web Services, they are like the leader. Then it's Microsoft Azure. Did we have applications to it? Sure did. What did we do? We did the VDI with Microsoft Azure, and Google also, of course, is in the business. Think about YouTube. All the storage, think about, Dylan, you've used YouTube before, right? Can you imagine how much storage space that needs? Even here, we stream my lectures to YouTube, right? I don't have to do it on my premise. Okay. That's a screenshot. What else? And that's it. Questions. We know it already. So read those questions. So for meeting next week, what I'd like you to do in the meeting is read through the articles, right, that are available to you. Questions. So let's do attendance. Attendance, and I'll stay with you as long as you need to answer any questions. I'm going to start checking. Let's see what number, 9039. 9039. When you're finished, you're welcome to leave. I wish you all a safe and happy fall break. And stay with me if you need to ask me any questions, need help on the homeworks or anything like that. I'm going to stop sharing. 9039. Let's see if people just forgot to log off. Dimitri, you have a question? Sometimes people that don't do? Dylan, you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
How can I help you, my dear?
I'm
Let me
I-
just stop, let me just stop recording, okay? Is this is just about you, right?
yeah, just about me.
Yeah, so we don't, nobody needs to hear that.